prophets. O brother, renounce the world, for the sake of Allah. Keep yourself awake the whole night in the worship of Allah and give your body and soul to hardship in the way of Allah. These are the useful practices. O brother, it is necessary for a man, who knows that the person with whom Allah is displeased will have to remain in hell, to turn away from the worldly comforts, keep awake all the night for him and suffer hardship in the way of Allah. O brother, it is essential for the man, who knows that the pleasure of Allah is a message to live in heaven, to try constantly to seek His pleasure in order to get deliverance and success. O brother, one should not mind the separation of his family for the pleasure of Allah. Only the pleasure of Allah is the security of heaven. If Allah is pleased, all our affairs will be accomplished and the hereafter will be agreeable. But if Allah is displeased, it is difficult for us to have a happy end. O my brother, a person who wishes to be in the company of the prophets and saints in the heaven should mold his life as I have done, and should act upon what I have mentioned above. O Huzaifa, you are one of those people to whom I feel pleasure to tell of my pains and sufferings. In fact, I console myself by telling you what befalls or has befallen me. O Huzaifa, I have seen the tyranny of the tyrants with my own eyes and have heard their offensive words with my own ears. Hence, I was compelled to express my views on those disgusting talks and to tell them that whatever was being done was absolutely wrong. I did accordingly, and consequently those unjust people deprived me of every kind of privilege. They expelled me from city to city and drove me from place to place, and they separated me from my brothers and kinsmen. O Huzaifa, they wreaked havoc upon me, and worst of all, they deprived me even from visiting the shrine of the Prophet. O Huzaifa, I am putting before you my sufferings, but I am afraid lest this expression of mine should turn into a complaint against Allah. Huzaifa, I admit that whatever decision my Lord and Creator takes in my case is right. I bow my head before His command. May my life be sacrificed in His way. I am desirous of His pleasure. I am writing all this to you so that you may pray to Allah for me as well as for the devoted Muslims. Peace be on you. Abu Dar. It is not known how Abu Dar sent this letter to Huzaifa ibn al-Yaman. When Huzaifa read this letter, his eyes were filled with tears. He recalled the traditions of the Holy Prophet concerning Abu Dar. What moved him most was Abu Dar's exile and loneliness. He picked up the pen with extreme anguish and wrote a reply to this letter. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful. My dear Abu Dar, I received your letter and came to know your affairs. You have scared me of my return on the day of judgment and have persuaded me to do certain things, for the improvement and betterment of myself. O brother, you have always been a well-wisher of mine as well as of all the Muslims and have been sympathetic and kind to all. You were always anxious for the welfare of all. You always showed the people the path of virtue and forbade them to do the evil. Of course, guidance is the exclusive right of Allah. He gives deliverance to whom He likes, and deliverance depends upon His pleasure. I pray to Allah for His general forgiveness and widespread blessing for myself, for the chosen and the common men, and for all the people of this ummah. I have come to know of those surprising facts, which you have mentioned in your letter, that is, your banishment from your hometown, your abandonment in a strange land without friends and supporters, and your having been thrown away from your house. O Abu Dar, the news of your sufferings has broken my heart into pieces, and the sufferings that you are experiencing now are extremely saddening. But I am sorry to say that I cannot do anything from here. Would that I had purchased your calamities for all my money. By Allah, had it been possible, I would have sacrificed all that I have for you. O Abu Dar, alas, you are in troubles, and I cannot do anything. By Allah, if it had been possible for me to share your troubles, I would have certainly done it. How painful it is that I cannot meet you. It is difficult to reach you. If these cruel people make me equal partner with you in your troubles, I am willing to take upon myself your hardships. But, alas, it cannot be this way. O Abu Dar, do not be worried. Allah is your supporter. He is seeing all these matters. Brother, it is necessary for both of us, you and I, to invoke Allah and request Him for the bestowal of good reward and for deliverance from punishment for us. O brother, the time is approaching near when you and I will Be called in the presence of Allah and shall be leaving soon. O brother, do not be worried at the troubles you have been facing and do not be alarmed. Pray to Allah to grant you its recompense. O brother, I consider death as far better for us than to live here. Now it is necessary for us to leave this transient world, because soon disturbances will come in succession one after the other. These disturbances will go on mounting and will crush up the virtuous people of the world. Swords will be unsheathed in these disturbances and death will surround men from all sides. Whosoever raises his head in these disturbances will certainly be killed. No tribe of all the tribes of the towns and the deserts of Arabia will remain unaffected. At that time the cruelest will be considered the most revered one, and the most pious one will be looked down upon. May Allah save us from the evils of that time. O Abu Dar, I pray for you all the time. May Allah keep us under His mercy and protect us from haughtiness in worship. He is a great disposer of our affairs. We always expect His generosity. Peace be upon you. Huzaifa 45. Scholars say that Abu Dar was spending his days with his family at Rabza when suddenly his son Dar fell sick. There was no physician in that deserted place to approach for treatment except trust in Allah. At last, the disease aggravated till the time of his death approached. The distressed mother took up his head from the sand and put it on her knee. The son breathed his last. The mother and sister started bewailing. Abu Dar was deeply shocked, but his trust in Allah consoled him. He controlled himself and didn't weep. As it was a desert, there were no arrangements for funeral. History does not tell us at this point how Abu Dar buried his son, but it is known from an authentic source what he did after burial and how he expressed his feelings in words. Muhaddith Yaqub Kalani writes, when Abu Dar's son Dar died, Abu Dar put his hand on Dar's grave and said, O my son, may Allah have mercy on you. You were a very able son of mine. You have died while I am happy with you. You should know that, by Allah, I did not suffer any loss by your death, and I do not need anybody except Allah. O son, if there had been no consideration for the horror after death, I would have been happy to wish to replace you in the grave, but now to my mourning your death has kept you off mourning for me. By Allah, I did not weep on your death, but what you have suffered makes me weep. Would that I had known what was asked of you and what you said in reply. O Allah, I have excused my rights which he owed to me. O my nourisher, I pray you to excuse whatever rights he owed to you. My Lord, you are more forgiving than I. 46. Sheikh Abbas Kumi writes in his book, Sayfinach al-Bahar, Volume 1 page 483 that the words uttered by Abu Dar on the grave of his son Dar were also uttered by Imam Jafar Sadiq, on the grave of his son Ismail. Abu Dar had not yet forgotten the death of his young son when his wife also left him forever. According to Allama Abdul Hamid, Abu Dar and his family members were passing their days in such a condition that they had no proper arrangement for food except that they got a little piece of meat now and then out of the camel slaughtered for the government officials. 47. They generally used to eat grass or other such things in those days. One day Abu Dar's wife ate some poisonous grass by which she contracted a fatal disease and died. 48. Abu Dar also fell sick. After the death of his wife, Abu Dar felt lonelier. He had only a daughter with him. When the people residing around Rabza came to know of Abu Dar's sickness, some of them came to see him. According to the statement of Abu Dar's daughter, they said to him, O Abu Dar, what are you suffering from and what do you complain of? Abu Dar replied, I have complaint against my sins. They said, do you desire something? He said, yes, I desire to have Allah's mercy. They said, if you like we can call a physician. He said, Allah is the absolute physician. The diseases as well as the remedy are in His power. I don't stand in need of a physician. 49. He was certain of his death. Majlisi, on the authority of Sa'id ibn Taus, quotes Muawiyah ibn Thalaba as saying, when Abu Dar's condition deteriorated at Rabza and we got its information, we left Medina for Rabza to see him. After inquiring about his condition, we desired him to make his will. He said that he had expressed his will, whatever it was, before the commander of the faithful. We asked, by the commander of the faithful do you mean Caliph Uthman? He said, never. By the commander of the faithful is meant one who is the rightful commander of the Faithful. O Ibn Thalaba, listen to me. Abu Turab, the father of the earth. Ali is he who is the blossom of the earth. He is a divine scholar of this ummah. Listen, you will see many abominable things in the world after his death. I said, O Abu Dar, we see that you make friends with those whom the Holy Prophet loved. Now we want to say something about the place Rabza where Abu Dar was confined, and he was not allowed to go out of its bounds. Scholars and historians agree that Rabza is situated at 3 miles from Medina near Zat Iraq on the way to Hijaz, and at that time it was not more than desolate wilderness. Sheikh Muhammad, Abdo, writes in the footnote on page 17 of volume 2, of Najul Balagha that Rabza is a place near Medina, where the grave of Abu Dar lies. Ibn Abu al-Hadid says that Abu Dar's exile to Rabza was one of the causes that led to the revolt of the Muslims against Uthman. There is no doubt that Abu Dar achieved the highest rank of faithfulness. He kept in view till the last moments of his life that he had promised to the Prophet to speak the truth and not to mind any reproach for the sake of truth. Shah Walul Adelavi writes that it was the practice of the Prophet that he took oath of allegiance of different kinds from different people, i.e., to go on jihad, to renounce innovation, to establish the Islamic laws, and to speak the truth. 50. The oath that he had taken from Abu Dar was that of speaking the truth. Abu Dar acted according to the oath of allegiance after fully knowing its implications, and why should he have not acted so, when he had the conviction, which admitted of no doubt, that whatever he was doing was in absolute conformity with the will of Allah and the intentions of the Holy Prophet. 51 In this respect he never cared for the mightiness of the government, nor was he scared of his getting into troubles. He tolerated every kind of oppression and bore every kind of discomfort, but did not stop from speaking the truth, till he was twice sent into exile. His last exile was without a parallel. He lay confined in a desolate desert. To say nothing of a house for shelter, he had to stay under the shade of a tree, without any arrangement for food and without a place to reside, rest or sleep in. But with his lofty courage and determination Abu Dar bore with cheerfulness all the hardships for the pleasure of Allah. His wife and young son having died, the time had now approached when he was waiting for his own departure in that desolate place with his only young daughter with him. Alas! The last day of Abu Dar's life approached in that desolate place. He was in prayers and his daughter was restless and anxious in view of her father's condition and approaching end. There was no man, not even an animal in sight. The moment was near for the angel of death to come, for the humanity to cry, and for the daughter to be deprived of her father's love. She had not only seen but was still observing the helplessness of her father, for whose love she became emotional again and again. We here reproduce the tragic story of Abu Dar's death as related by his daughter, in the light of Majlisi's writing. She says, "We were passing our days with untold sufferings in the wilderness. It so happened one day that we could not get anything to eat. We kept on searching round the jungle but could not find anything. My ailing father said to me, 'Daughter, why are you so much worried today?' I said, 'Dad,